man's original state. We wanted to look at the nature of man when God created him. Man's original moral nature, there are three options for moral nature of a person, right? There are three ways you can look, and there are three options there. We may have to pick what is the right one. All right, I have used some Latin terms here. Non posse peccare. That is the first term theologians used for this one. That originally, when God created Adam, right, he was created in this way, not possible to sin. Not possible to sin. This is a state shared by Christ and by all those who are free from the sin nature by being perfectly renewed after the image of Christ in the respective state. Yes, this is a common term that is used. Not possible to sin, right? Do we have this state? Yes, not now. In the future, when you are with Christ, resurrected, yes, so there is no way that you could do sin. We cannot do sin because we don't have a sinful nature, right? We don't have a sinful nature. And Christ has the same, right? Christ also. We will look at that later, maybe a little more deep. So this is the one moral, this is the one option for the nature of man. Second is first is non posse peccare, and the third one is non posse non peccare, right? There is another option regarding to man, that is not possible to not sin. Not possible to not sin, that there is no other way that one can remain without sin. This is the second option. This is the state shared by all those who have not partaken of the new nature and are bound to sin. That is, this is talking about unbelievers, let's put that way. Good. Unbelievers. Unbelievers are in this. This is possible. This is going to be for believers, right? But not now. It is after resurrection. After resurrection, yes. So that is not possible to sin. Yes, after resurrection, yes. There is no possibility of sinning at all. The third option is posse peccare or non peccare, another Latin term. Possible to sin or to not sin. Possible to sin or to not sin. All right? So this was the original state of Adam, and is also condition of regenerate. Man were not in the same way. So when God created Adam, Adam's condition was that yes, was it possible to sin? Yes. Or was it possible to not sin? Yes. So there are three options as far as Adam is concerned. When he was created this way. So let's discuss about Adam's posse peccare or non peccare nature, that is possible to sin or not sin, right? How do you now explain that one? Adam was morally responsible agent. He was a morally responsible agent. Yes. When God created Adam, he was a responsible being. This is what we learn from Genesis 2:17. He had an inalienable moral obligation, inseparable moral obligation with respect to God and to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Yes. He has to respect, I mean, he has to obey God. God said there is a tree that is in the middle of the garden and its fruit he should not be. So he has to respect, he has to obey. And so, yes, he was a morally responsible agent. That means he has to take that moral decision. He is an agent of God. He is a creature created by God. Second thing, yes, he was volitionally free agent. What is that volitional? A volition talk about will. So, Adam had a free will. Now, sometimes we might say, what is that? That free will means free to do anything? It's not that free to do anything, but free to do what he's capable of doing. Free to do that I would say kind of free will. It's not absolute free will. But so it's better to say, yes, he had the freedom of will. He's a volitionally free agent. Adam was free from the debilitating impulses of sin nature. Adam, see, the difference between you and Adam, me and Adam, is this. I have sin nature, right? That is the most difficult thing. There is an impulse of sin residing in me, in my body. And because of that, it is so easy to fall. But whereas Adam did not have that impulse because his body was not sinful. He was not sinful. There's no sin in him. His body is not corrupted. Therefore, what? Therefore, he was free to easily obey. Easily obey. Yeah, that is the case of Adam. All impulse to sin was generated from without and was non-constraining. Anything that was impulse, persuasion to sin, it did not come from within of Adam. It came from outside of Adam. It came from temptation outside, not inside. All right. Third, he had a provisionally holy nature. Yeah. God never creates anything evil. God did not create evil. God creates good, and God created Adam, and he was a holy being. But I say here, provisionally holy. Yes, the nature, Adam's human nature was holy. Because Genesis chapter 1 verse 31 says, he was created everything very good. Very good. So this description does not demand a positive inclination to holiness. Right? It's not, God is pushing Adam to obey. No, there was no positive inclination or an evil inclination. There was nothing like that. Right? So, however, it demands the absence of all that is not holy. Adam had nothing in him that was not holy. Yeah, so that is what it is. That's the reason you read in Ecclesiastes chapter 7. God made mankind upright, but men have gone in search of many schemes. Yeah, God made mankind upright. That is what we see. So the more specific term used here is yatar, implies that Adam was not merely innocent. Yeah. No, he's not innocent. Certainly, he's not neutral. Neutral, yeah. Not holy, not evil. No, that's not the way. Actually, he was what? A possession of moral integrity. He was. That he was holy. Adam was holy. Never think, never imagine that Adam was created a neutral being. Not holy, not evil. No, there is no neutrality. When God created, he had a holy nature. He was a upright man, no sin in him, holy nature, right? Even though Adam was created in a state of non-experiential moral rectitude. Look at that term, non-experiential. There is no experience in what? Moral uprightness, rectitude, what is right, morally right, that is here. Even though he had the nature, he did not have the experience of obeying. Yeah, God, right? That is beginning now. So he has the capacity to now to obey God fully. He was fully equipped and inclined to fulfill his moral responsibility. But only thing, it is not, the responsibility is not put into practice. Adam is beginning to obey God, right? Beginning to obey God. Fourth, Adam was untested moral character. As was mentioned above, the image of God in Adam was not complete. Yeah, God created man, but it was not complete. The image was there, but it was not complete. It did not include all of God's moral excellencies, right? If it has to include of all of God's moral excellencies, then he has to what? He has to be confirmed in holiness. Yes, if he wants to part of all moral, the maximum excellencies of morality, right? The excellency of morality, then he has to go through this test of God. So let's take it as, right? Now, what God is doing, God is testing Adam. Testing Adam. As I said before, Adam's nature was provisionally holy. Yeah. Even including the inherent disposition to do right. He was not created as neutral. He was created as holy with the inclination to do what is right. Adam was in a state of unconformed creaturely holiness. Please learn that term. What is that? Unconformed creaturely holiness. He had holiness, but holiness is not confirmed. It will be confirmed once he passes the test. Adam's holiness will be confirmed when he passes the test. Right? So once he passes the test, that holy nature, right? Holy nature will be holy character. Yeah, holy character. Right? So now he had a nature, right? That's what Adam had. Adam had a nature. That's what he had. Now it needs to be character. So understand, nature has to turn into character. Yes. That's what we're looking at. That's what God is looking at here. So he did not have holy character. What is that? That is an acquired tendency to do right in the face of moral options. He did not have a holy character. So what is character? Right? So here if you look at closely, you will see the difference between nature and character. Right? We are born with a sinful nature, but our sinful character is developed. Same way, Adam was born with a holy nature, but he has to now develop the holy character.
Our sinful nature has developed, or our
No. Sinful character is developed. We are born with a sinful nature.
Okay.
Right. A child is born with a sinful nature, but character is then formed just opposite to that. And was born with a holy nature.
Sinless character is being developed.
No. Sinful character is developed. All human beings are born in sin nature, and they develop sinful character. Whereas Adam was born with holy nature. But God was looking at that the holy character has to be developed. Right? So that is the difference between Adam and rest of humanity. We're not talking about after salvation. We're not talking about that. Yes, those are different things. But initially, when you and I are born in this world, we have a sinful nature. That nature now turns into character as we are responsible, as we are, as we disobey, as we do things like responsible, accountable. Right? That's where it becomes character, or as you practice. So this is what I say, the difference between the nature and character. Adam's nature, that is holy, that is an inherent disposition to do right. Right? Inherent disposition, right? The way that you're made up, that is your disposition. So you have inherent within you, you are made up the way to do right. But holy character, what is that? It is an acquired tendency to do right in the face of moral options. So holy character. So character is one, an acquired tendency to do something. That is acquired. We acquire to in our lives. So character is the result of experience. Character is always the result of experience, not nature. Adam was created without experience of any kind. Right? No kind of experience. He's created as a holy being, holy nature. Now he has to go through the test. Sometimes theologians would call this testing time as a probationary period. Probationary period. It is usually in all the companies, they have like months of probation. It's a time of test. Is he able to perform well? So it's just like that. That's what theologians would call. Usually, many theologians use that word, probationary period for Adam. But let's say this way, that Adam had a holy nature that has to put into practice to become a holy character. So once it becomes a holy character, God has to conform him in that holiness. Now the question is, if Adam was inclined to do right, righteousness, and turn away from sin, then why did he sin? Right? It's a quiet, logical question. Why did he sin? As we have noted, Adam's nature was provisionally holy, but not immutably inclined to holiness. It is provisionally holy. It doesn't mean that it is immutably, like with all powerful to do holiness. No. He also had other inclinations which were in themselves good, but which
Free
could
will
be.
was given.
Yeah.
Free will was given to man.
Sorry, tell me, ask me once again, sister.
Free will was given to man.
3.
Free will. Free
Free,
will.
free.
Yeah, that's what I said. I say freedom to choose. Right? We always talk about free will. Freedom to choose what is right, right? Yes, there is volish. That's what I already said that one here. That Adam had what? He's morally responsible agent, and Adam was volitionally free agent. Look at that one. Freedom of will. Yes, it was given to man. Now, what I say here is that he had inclinations that are good in him, right? Now, so as we said, Adam's nature was provisionally holy, but not immutably inclined to holiness, right? It's not like God. No, he was not created as God. So he had the capacity to remain in holiness, choose what is right, right? Or he had the capacity to disobey. So that's the reason it is not immutably inclined to holiness. He also had other inclinations which were in themselves good, right? But which could be set in conflict with his inclination to righteousness. All right. Eve's native inclinations, right? These are all good inclinations to sustain herself with a good food, right? That's a good one. And to increase in knowledge. They're all good. Were pitted against her inclination to righteousness. Yeah, she has this good qualification, right? There are a lot of good qualification. But what happens? She her inclination to sustain herself with the good food. She wants good food. And she wants knowledge to be increased. And what happened? Giving priority to certain inclinations too much, she is now going to violate, right? So what happened? The result that she was deceived into sinning. It was not balanced desire. God wants everything to be balanced, but her desire for certain things went too far. Good food, more knowledge. That means what is going to result is disobedience. Likewise, Adam's positive inclination, what was that? When God created, to be harmony with his wife, right? Positive inclination. And so it's a good one. I want to be like my wife. I want to share with my wife in everything. I want to eat what she eats. That's a harmony. The positive inclination to be in harmony with his wife overwhelmed his inclination to be harmony with God, leading him to join Eve in her sin. Join Eve in her sin. So what is that? See, this is what positive inclinations. They are good, but when it was imbalanced, you go to one side extreme, and there you have the problem. That's what happens in the case of Adam and Eve. right? Good food, is it bad? No. Increase of knowledge, is it bad? No. But what happened? It was pitted against her inclination to be right with God. It was against God's law, but she chose this side, right? Now, I am saying, so the question is, if Adam was inclined to righteousness and away from sin, then why did he sin? This is what the answer for that question. The over emphasis on certain good inclinations against the other is the problem. Imbalanced. Question number 2. At what point Adam could have been confirmed in holiness? Right? For example, Adam did not sin. Eve did not sin. If they did not sin, when will God confirm them in their holy nature? Scripture does not provide an answer to this question. It seems that Adam would have had to do right in the face of other options at least one time. Right? At least one time. Whether a single success in this regard would have been sufficient, we don't know. How long it needs for Adam? 1 month, 2 months, 3 months to obey, learn to obey God? We don't know how long God, we don't know. Bible doesn't say. But the truth is, he did not stay that way long. He sinned very quick. Very, very quick. All right. So we are looking at man's makeup. And I say here, first of all, man's original moral nature, how it was. Now let's look at man's original intellectual capacities. Yeah, intellectual capacities. Man had an uninhibited intellect, right? If you ask me, who was the wisest man who ever lived in this world? Who is that? The wisest man, Adam. All our wisdom, our knowledge is corrupted by sin. But here's a man who was so wise. Unrestrained by the debilitating effects of sin. Adam's intellect enabled him in a single day, right, to observe the distinguishing features of those animals and to assign them names based on those features. And then apparently to remember all these names and characteristics apart from any sort of external memory aid or written record. Adam's brain worked like a computer. Look at it with me, Genesis chapter 2, verse 19 and 20. Please, one of you, please read. Genesis chapter 2, verse 19 to 20. Anyone?
Now the Lord God had formed out of the ground all the wild animals and all the birds in the sky. He brought them to the man to see what he would name them, and whatever the man called each living creature, that was its name. So the man gave names to all the livestock, the birds in the sky, and all the wild animals.
All right. And look at verse 20 also. Remaining rest of, yeah.
And but for Adam, no suitable helper was found.
Okay, so man gave names to all the livestock, birds of the air, and the beasts of the field, but for Adam, no suitable helper was found. Right, so you see, Adam is naming hundreds of animals and able to recall their names, looking at the features, whatever the name he gave was exactly the name that it deserved. It was its name. Beautiful, right? That's that. There you see the ability of Adam. Second, man had native linguistic capabilities. Linguistic capabilities. What are those? God, God talked with Adam. If you look at verse 16, yes, verse 16, and the Lord God commanded the man. So God talked, and man talked back, right? So, yeah, so if he has talked, in order to talk, you need to have what? Linguistic abilities you need. Genesis 2:20, we just read now, verse 23, right? Adam gave names to the animals and even to his wife. Even to his wife. Adam gave names, right? So, man did not invent a language or create linguistic laws, subject, object, verb, things like that, which governs its usage. They are received laws of language. Yeah, everything is received. God gave the ability. Just speak. That formed the basis of his conversation, and which today form the basis for hermeneutics and other things as well. Yes. So Adam is able to use the language. Third, man had creative and deductive abilities. Look at the creative ability of Adam. First of all, you see, God brought all the animals, right? Animals. And Adam named. But verse 20 says one thing. He looked at all the animals. What did he saw? What did he saw? He saw all the animals in what? Pairs, right? Yeah. Male and female. That's what Adam saw. Male and female pairs. Now what happens? You read, Adam did not find, yes, any suitable helper for him. So that means he saw in all the animals suitable helpers. Like every animal has what? Suitable helpers, like one male and female. And only for Adam there is nothing. So that is what said. Adam deduced that he was alone and had no mate corresponding to him. He learned it. He knew it. That tells his ability. The next one, he cultivated the garden, right? Cultivated the garden, deducing the needs of the plants and inventing tools to meet them. Wow, he began very quick. What are the tools to use? He developed. He was a gardener very quick, right? So that tells his intellectual capacities. Now let's look at man's relationship to the rest of the universe. We call it as dominion mandate. All right, what was his, okay? Now he saw his responsibility to God and his ability now to the universe, what he has to do. First of all, Genesis 1, verse 28 to 30. Look at it carefully, right? We're looking at carefully. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number. Look at that one. Increase in number. And he says, fill the earth and subdue. So, yes, this fill the earth is very, very easy. Right? Okay. He says that God says, rule over the fish of the sea, birds of the air. So rule is important. Every living creature that moves on the ground. So what are the things? Be fruitful, right? So that is part of the increasing in number, fill the air. So first one is basically fill. Second one is what? Is to rule. Rule the earth. Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth. Yeah, every seed-bearing plant. And every tree that has fruit with a seed in it. They will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth and all the birds of the air and all the creatures that move on the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food. So, what is the food for human being? Yes, if you look at, we see all the seed-bearing plants. Seeds. And every tree that has fruit. Yes. So, like, so what are we to understand? Adam was supposed to be a vegetarian, right? A vegetarian. And I love my non-veg. I love my non-veg food. But in the beginning, when God created, this is the way God created, all right? So fill the earth, rule. Third should be a vegetarian. Be a vegetarian. Psalm 8, verse 6 to 8. You made him ruler over the works of your hands. You put everything under his feet, all flocks, herds, beasts of the field, birds of the air, and fish of the sea, all that swim the paths of the sea. Yes? Right? God is commanding now. Okay. Now, so we have the biblical data here. Now, how do we understand the explication of the mandate? First of all, we read, subdue the earth. What do we mean by that? Yes, this has the idea of a utilitarian mastery. Yeah? You be a master in using the earth. Responsibility of man is to bring the creation into bondage and take advantage of its resources. Yeah. We have to use its resources, right? Bring it under bondage and use it. Specifically mentioned is earth vegetation. And not only vegetation, it also includes the land itself, its minerals, natural resources. This seems to encompass the disciplines not only of horticulture, agriculture, husbandry, but all the natural sciences, technology, even art. Yeah, it includes, we say, all kinds of arts. Wow, because subdue the air, right? So the idea is what? The idea is utilitarian mastery, right? That means you be the Lord of the earth for your own use, right? You use it. This is for you.
I never thought of minerals and the natural resources in that command.
Oh, yes.
In that statement.
Yeah. Actually, that is what it means. Now, let me look at then, if that is the case, if there is a question comes, does man have an ecological mandate? Right? Ecological mandate. There is a great temptation to dismiss all ecological activism out of hand because of typically evolutionary vantage, animistic views of life, and atheistic doomsday forecast. The replacement of God of the Bible with the mother nature, remember that's what people do, is the natural law. Mother nature is little more than sophisticated idolatry, right? It is an expression of the sentiments that you see in Romans chapter 1, verse 25, exchanging the truth of God for a lie by worshiping, serving creature rather than creator. There is no mother nature. It's a nature that created by God. Yeah. So you have all this mother nature things, and you need to preserve all kinds of, comes from atheism, right? It comes from the modern science. At the same, yes.
Pastor, it says the creation itself is groaning. Where do we take that?
We are going to, yeah, I will come there. Yeah, I'll come there. Yes. Groaning for redemption, right? That's what we are going to look at here. Yeah. So at the same time, however, there is a sense in which subduing the earth does demand perpetuation of earth resources for our posterity. This is very important. That you need to be a responsible citizen of the resources that God has given to you. It is not only for you, but it is for your children as well. You need to keep it for them, right? We can have confidence that the world will never become uninhabitable due to the combined effects of global warming or mining, clear-cutting timber, overpopulation, or the extinction of California, or nonetheless, Earth's ecology, resilient as it is, can be damaged by our failure to subdue it responsibly. You control it responsibly. Otherwise, it will be damaged. Right? So, what I would say here is this. Does it include an ecological mandate? I am saying yes. That you have to care for the natural resources. Because this world has to go this way for the future generations as well. It is not that you need to worship the earth. It's not that it's because it's the mother nature, but it is a what? You are going to be the master of the earth. Mastering means, right, using your wisdom in a way that you can have these resources that God has given to you for the future generations as well. Don't destroy it. Don't destroy the resources. That is what it says. Now, how do we take creation groans? It is simply because, you see, we are going to say at the end, God has cursed the earth. Cursed the earth after the sin. Under the curse. And you see, the creation groans now. How? That it is because of the curse, all kinds of calamities comes. Tsunami comes, earthquake comes, all kinds of things happen. It is because of the burden, because of the curse of the sin. It doesn't produce proper food. The vastness of the earth is not inhabitable. Like all this desert land is under the curse and doesn't produce a thing. It groans, right? It is because of the sin. That is what we understand. All right. Now, so subdue the earth is very important. Subdue, master, you be the master of the earth resources. Right. Rule over every living creature. What does that mean? Based on man's superior intellect and status in the image of God, God gave man authority over the earth and everything in it. Animals are specifically listed as having been created to serve the interest of man. Yes, animals were for man. They have no moral or civil rights of any sort because they are not moral or civil beings. Right? And for example, in Matthew, see, are you not worth more than they? Are you not worth more than birds in the air? Are you not worth more than animals? Right? So that is what Christian values. Even now, the whole world uses Judeo-Christian values. It's because in this book we see man is more worth. Man does have a responsibility to be benevolent ruler. Yeah. So probably we read, a righteous man has regard for the life of his beast. He regards. But this has more to do with the civil character of man than civil rights of the animals. It's not the civil rights of the animal, but it is civil character of man. You be civil, be responsible with every resources that you have, right? You subdue. God created animals for man. God created everything for man. They should serve your purpose. They should serve your thing. Of course, in the end, they serve God's purpose. So man has to rule over living creatures. All right. So that is what about the dominion mandate. Now, yes. Let's look at the next one. The present status of the dominion mandate. What happened? Now, God said, fill the earth. Right? Now, what happened after the sin? Right now, present status of the dominion mandate. Man's ability to fulfill the mandate has been severely hampered by the fall because of sin. You don't have the ability to master it now. You have put all things in subjection under his feet. For subjecting all things to him, God left nothing that is not subject to him. But now we do not yet see all things subjected to man, simply because of sin. Yeah. Second, the next idea. Agriculture and horticulture were severely hampered by the introduction of thorns and thistles because of sin. Animal husbandry is severely hampered by the loss of animalian docility, probably in part after the fall, but a greater degree after the flood. Yes, and you are not able to control the animal. Animals are not under control. They don't serve you well now. They are just dispersed into various parts, and man is not able to care for the animals. The effects of the fall extended to all creation. Right? Romans chapter 8, the creation is waiting for redemption. But the mandate still continues with following clarifications. Mandate is a secular, not an ecclesial one. The dominion mandate is not given to the church, but it is given to the humanity as a whole. The church has no social or cultural mandate to fulfill. We don't have. This is by no means intended to communicate the individual Christian should conceal their Christian morals or moorings in their industry, politics, education, general conduct. No, you can, but you don't have the mandate to involve in everything. Church has no mandate to do all kinds of jobs. If you want, you can. However, it is not the church's responsibility to establish a Christian culture. Now, there is no Christian culture that God has asked us to establish in a society. Well, if everyone is Christian, that is okay. You follow the Christian values. But if everyone is not Christian, then you don't have that culture. Your society is not cultural. It doesn't have Christian culture. Yes. So we have this dominion mandate is still out there for every human being. What is the relationship of Christ and culture? That was a discussion that had like 50 years ago. A lot of debates had. So there are various views. Well, group views as Christ against culture. Right? Culture is inseparably corrupt, therefore to be avoided, even opposed. Christ and his followers should function as a counterculture. You should be against the culture. You should be a separated community within the culture, like Amish. Remember Amish? Amish and Mennonites try to maybe watch some videos on Amish group, right? They're kind of Christian, some of them, and just watch them, their culture. They are separated. They are not part of the mainline culture of the land. That is what Christ against the culture. Second, Christ and culture in paradox. Second view, culture is irreparably corrupt, but inescapable. You cannot escape the culture. This paradox must be endured by Christ and his followers. Yes, this culture is corrupt, but you endure. That is what Lutheranism teaches, right? You should endure. Third, Christ is above culture. Yes, culture is basically corrupt, but can be alternately subjugated and cultivated so that Christ's higher ethic is eventually recognized and embraced by the culture at large. Yes, it is corrupt, but you can bring them under Christ. Like Roman Catholicism and some expressions of Reformation, like magisterial Reformation, they think that you can bring Christian values into a culture, right? Christ above the culture, right? So that is you. Eventually, you can bring, recognize, and embrace Christian values in the culture. The next view, Christ transforming culture, right? That is, culture is seriously damaged, but salvageable. Yeah, you can resurrect it, thus capable of ultimate redemption. Yes, because especially post-millennial reformed group, they believe that the kingdom is here, it is progressive, and as gospel spread everywhere, the culture will change. Christ will transform culture, and thus there will be a kingdom in this world. So, according to post-millennialism, the spiritual or Christianity or the spirituality of the world is increasing. The next one, Christ of culture, right? Christ of culture. What is that? Culture is good. Oh, they have the best view of culture in a way. They think that is good. Actually governs the religious expressions of Christ and his followers. Actually, our culture is the culture of Christ. It came from Christ. So this is what liberals, Protestant liberals usually think. So this is God's culture. This is from Christ. Now, church and its members do have a responsibility to discredit depraved culture. Right? We have arguing transcendently that non-theistic culture is irrelevant and, in fact, impossible. However, it has no positive mandate with respect to culture. Church has no mandate to change your culture. Church may not approve or remove itself from depraved culture. Yeah, you cannot escape the world. You are in the world. You cannot escape it. And church may not approve, remove, and will never successfully transform or subjugate. Church cannot transform the culture or subjugate the culture. Thus, it remains for the church to live antithetically in the world. You are not really part of the depraved culture. You need to live opposite. Salvaging what has been borrowed from Sorry about that. Salvaging what has been borrowed from Christian worldview and eschewing what is not. So what is our duty? Remove what is not Christian and embrace what is Christian. Right? That is what our mandate. That means in your culture, you have certain things that you do, you form. If it is not against God's principle, you have the right to follow. That is quite, there was something that people usually think. For example, Jews now who are being saved, receive Jesus Christ as their Lord, converted to Christianity, but still they follow all the Jewish law. Because if it is not against, they follow. They're circumcised. They follow Shabbat. They follow Passover and all kinds of things. They can. They don't have to change, right? So because the practices that you have within your culture, if it is not against the scripture, you can follow it. There's nothing wrong because you are born in a culture, and you're part of the culture. Your makeup is that culture. You don't have to change. All right. Restoration of dominion does not establish the kingdom because dominion is established. Instead, establishment of the kingdom restores dominion. So when is this dominion mandate is fully restored in the kingdom? Man's original dominion will not be restored until millennial kingdom. Fantastic agricultural success. Yes, you read about it in Ezekiel about this agriculture, and even in traditionally barren climates, you are going to, you read, it's going to be in the kingdom. Restoration of animal docility. Now there is animosity, and there is going to be animal docility, that man and animals will stay together. It also happens in the kingdom. So it's going to be restored fully. Other responsibilities, we don't have time. We will look at that later.